Well, it is Sunday, March 3rd, and the trip goes well. I have successfully crossed the Rocky Mountains, and I'm on the west side. And I didn't run into any issues or have any incidents. It just, I took my time and, you know, used my best judgment. Scary, I know, but still, it's gotten me this far. And so I tend to trust my intuition a little bit more than what I used to. When things don't look good, I use caution. And when things look or appear to be good, I have no reason to doubt. I can just, well, until something happens, I'll just continue. And if nothing happens, well, great. So the trip went well. And the car drove without problems. And, just traction and tires were okay across some questionable conditions, but slush and ice on top of mountains. Yeah, just crossing between lanes was try to limit that, but all went well. I made it here unscathed, and with a lot of pictures and things to show for it. And but it was a journey alone, and and I just know that I feel really good about the fact that all those miles that I've traveled since I started a week ago today, when I left that apartment in Indiana. I left there exactly. I left on a Sunday, and so I was just getting ready at this time last week to leave Indiana for what may be the last time. Though I still have family there, so I might return, but not by car. I will not be driving back, but I might fly. Who knows? Though I don't really enjoy flying, but I do see it as a necessity of convenience. So I'm not against it. I just don't prefer it if I don't have to, because it's just a complicated travel method when I just feel more of a sense of freedom when I can just drive someplace. But there's less tasks involved and things to remember. So anyway, my tree has made it with me. It's been my companion along the way. And what I was going to say was that I felt good about that all the miles that I traveled to get here. It's like those are not return miles. They're not miles that I have to retrace and go back. No, this is a one-way trip. And so I had my stop in Wisconsin to visit family there for 4 days and 5 nights. And then I've been on the road for 2 days to get to here. And I guess the most important thing to get to here was there was some sort of blizzard or winter storm going on, or was going to have been going on now. Started last night and was going to be sweeping through the corridor of interstate travel that I was going through. So yesterday it was about getting out of there and getting behind the storm as it was sweeping through. I was traveling across the north side of it and getting to the west of it and behind it, which I did. And still I saw some snow, but it wasn't nearly as much as what I think it could have been. Because I see reports coming in now about, I saw a few articles that popped up on my phone about blizzard conditions and people being stuck. And it's like, yeah, I'm glad I made it to this side. And the weather is very nice. It's above freezing. It's sunny right now. And, temperatures are still cool, but not cold. It's actually going to be above freezing. And, And so I still have many miles left to go. But they are relatively easy miles. And I'm looking forward to getting back on the road and doing it again and carrying my tree back to the car and packing up this room, which was a very nice room, by the way. I don't know when the last time I ever slept in a king-size bed, because I usually don't. I usually take the option for the rooms that have two queen-size beds, because for whatever reason they're cheaper. And but they asked me if I would take a king, and I was like, sure. I didn't feel like any talking really. So, and it turns out they're like pretty full in this hotel. There's some sort of basketball conference or something going on, and there's like an entire boys and girls basketball team like staying in this hotel. And I think it's like high school or something. But anyway, it's kind of loud out there, and they were doing laundry well into the night. I actually woke up at 2:30, and the laundry room was right outside, and I could hear like a pair of shoes or something tumbling in the dryer. And I just laid there for like, maybe it'll stop. And no, it didn't stop. So after like half an hour of listening to those shoes tumbling in the dryer, I was like, that's beyond what I feel I need to put up with. So I just got up, and it's like, I'll just open the door and just stop it. No one should be doing laundry at 2 o'clock in the morning. And it says if you're going to be doing laundry, just stay with, don't leave your stuff unattended. So, and there was no one around, and it didn't restart. And they were mostly dry. So it's not like they were sopping wet. And anyway, so I felt a little bit guilty about, tampering with somebody else's clothes, but they shouldn't be doing laundry at 2 o'clock in the morning in a hotel when there's guests trying to sleep, quiet hours and stuff. So I felt I was within my rights. A gray area. But anyway, the other thing I discovered about this room is I really like this chair that I'm in. It swivels. And it also rocks. So, the simple things, so. It feels good. And it's a much nicer chair than the chair I had been occupying for many, many years, which I did dismantle and throw away because it was very well destroyed just from use. And I'd actually been thinking about getting a brand new one for at least 2 or 3 years, but then I was like, I'm moving. I don't want to get a new chair and then have to put it together and get rid of the old one, and then I'm moving and I leave this one, which would have been fine because I would have just left that chair there. But as it turned out, I was just like, I kept on not getting a brand new chair for that apartment because I just knew that I would be moving eventually, and eventually turned into a couple more years. But after it was just like 7 years and 4 months because I moved into that apartment in November. So, yeah, actually more like 3 months. 7 years, 3 months. And, but yeah, long enough. And it's like time to go. And now I'm here. And I couldn't have predicted it. And I couldn't have guessed it. And I couldn't be more thrilled. Because I visited this, the Pacific Coast a couple times in the past. And every time I always enjoyed it. And I enjoy the weather, the people, the culture and the attitude that I had come in contact with at the time, which, I'm sure people are people in general, no matter wherever you go. But, I don't know, maybe it's just a observer bias, where I see what I'm looking for or something. I'm not sure. But from what I remember, it's like I enjoyed the general attitude and character and quality of people that I met out here those many years ago on those couple visits. Of course, I was a younger person then, so maybe I was more optimistic or naive or gullible. I'm not sure. But and now I should be more cantankerous and grumpy, but no, not really. Or at least maybe I was, but now I've gotten over that a bit. As I kept just applying what I've been learning and practicing it. And it doesn't make everything better, and it doesn't solve very much, but at least I feel better. And through that, the more that I work on myself, the better everyone else gets. So that ripple effect, that, and I know it's not like positivity for positivity's sake, but sort of, but I try to be more realistic and pragmatic, but still, there is some truth to it that, positive thought leads to positive action, leads to positive reflections. But I don't dwell in the positive because there's just a lot of reality out there. And reality does not care so much about a person's perception. Reality takes first place. Perception comes second. But then, isn't reality framed by perception and how we're looking at it, which determines the shape and nature of reality? So, it's like if a tree falls in the woods, does it make a sound? Yes. Just because a person's not around here, it doesn't mean that it didn't happen. It's just there was no one there to witness or observe or record the event. But it's very, I think, hubristic to think of ourselves as so human-centric, the human-centric notion that if we didn't observe it, then it might not have happened, or it might not be real, or it might not exist until we understand it, or document it, or give it a name. Then it hasn't been discovered yet, which most things they do fine well before we ever discover them. And usually after we discover something, that's when things get messed up. Of course, there's things that just get messed up just by our casual passing through an area without even our noticing. So, anyway, and I know I'm guilty of it too. Just the unawareness of our impact on our surrounding environment and world. But I guess I got to see a little bit of a more pristine environment in my travels recently, and I was just struck. But there's just so much human sprawl, even through those areas, that it's like, wow, we're everywhere. And I know I'm a part of it, of course. And the infrastructure of our entire civilization, I depend on it. I am supported by it. I'm a part of it. I contribute to it. I am part of the phenomenon and culture, whether I accept it or not, or want to or not. It's like, no, I need all of this to survive in this lavish comfort to which I have become accustomed. Having like clean water on demand out of a tap. You just lift the handle, clean water comes out. I don't have to go down to a nearest water source, find a nearest water source, and then worry about contamination, sickness, things like that. It's like, I wouldn't survive very long at all in the wild. So kind of got off on a tangent a little bit. I apologize. But I do that sometimes. The mind wanders. So, I guess the point of this was just to record something and to let whoever's watching that might have been paying attention or following along, which I don't think there's very many people, but also this is mostly for myself to leave a record. Yeah, this is the morning after my arrival on this side of the Rocky Mountains, having successfully traversed and crossed. And the drive, it did go like, and the miles happened. And I did just kind of zone out and drive. And there is some participation. It's like I do have to, pilot the vehicle. But for the most part, it's like I don't really notice so much, or it doesn't bother me so much. It's just I guess I've had a lot of practice with driving, but I wouldn't ever want it as an occupation, because whenever I'm done with it's like, yeah, okay, well, I won't want to do that for a while. But I still kind of enjoy it. But I think as soon as something becomes an occupation, it loses something. It loses the spontaneity and creativity of the activity. Because now I'm doing it and I'm on a schedule, and there's expectations, and there's other people involved. So, but we're like most trips that I'm doing, it's like I get there when I get there. Most times, no one's really paying attention, and I'm not on a schedule except for whatever one I set for myself. And I stop where I like, when I like, as I like, and I just kind of watch my surroundings and just take it all in. And I have fun. And maybe that's something that I do that maybe some other people out on the road sometimes forget. We get too busy to remember that it's kind of fun. Or maybe that's just me. I don't think so, though. Of course, there are people that are out there and they're having fun, but they're irresponsibly having fun, in my opinion. As far as like interstates or highways being a racetrack, it's like, of course, maybe I was guilty of that when I was younger too. And also sometimes I do forget my own speed. And it's like you look down, it's like, oh shoot, I'm going way too fast. I hope no one's watching. And I don't brake all of a sudden to slow down. I just kind of I'll just coast slower. And it's like, oh, I'm not coasting slower fast enough. I need to tap on the brake just a little bit. So anyway, but so far, for all my transgressions, and I've never gotten a speeding ticket, and I probably should have by as many times that I've been seen, but I guess they just have bigger fish to fry. I'm just not that interesting of a catch, and I'm not worth their time. Or who knows? But I consider myself fortunate, because that would be like, especially on a trip like the one I'm on right now, or any other one, it would just be decidedly inconvenient to get pulled over, and then to feel like I need to explain myself, and then be interrogated, or talked down to, or yeah, just, I guess it depends on who you get stopped by, what sort of mood they're in, and 'cause I've heard that there are friendly police enforcement officers, but all of my contacts have usually been for misdemeanor type things. I'm not sure. They were doing their job, and they don't know who I am, or what my history is, or what my history isn't. So I could be anybody to them. So they are doing their job, and they need to keep themselves safe and keep everyone around them safe. And so if I take it as they're being slightly mean, or I guess that is part of the job, to establish authority, and make sure that people that are around them are following directions and not doing anything to exacerbate or do anything that might then create a worse situation in some way, which sometimes it's like the people that are involved, they don't even know, and they're just doing whatever comes natural to them. They are unaware of their situation and what's going on and what the implications are, and they're just kind of, it's in a new situation, and they're not sure what the rules are, because there's all these rules that are all of a sudden being applied, and there's it's like, okay. But anyway, so I'm always kind of wary about it's like, so it can be a touchy subject. So anyway, I guess I should get going, but I did want to record something and get this posted before I record or get driving again. And I'll record something else for later. But this should be good for now. And I'm just kind of taking my time this morning with this room, because I don't have to leave for another 2.5 hours. So I have that long till checkout at 11, which is nice. Because I'll just be taking my time today, and then I'll get to my destination sometime tomorrow. I don't know what time yet, but yeah. So wish me luck, and safe travels, and something like that. I don't know how to close, so I'm just gonna click the button and go get going to the rest of my day, and so I'll see you next time. Thank you.